Caught him on the square bill. There we go. That's a nice one. Whew. Hey guys, this is Gene Jensen. Today I want to talk about my top picks for pre-spawn bass fishing. One right there. Another one. That one was a little deeper. Just a little bitty one. Another little one. All right, well, it was way too windy for me to stay out there on the lake and fish, and so I pulled up into a little protected pocket, this is the kind of protected pocket that a bass will spawn in, and that's why I was catching them out on that point just before you come into this pocket. It's protected from the wind. We have a north wind today. Notice there's no wind right here, so it's protecting this water right here from the north wind. And so this water is going to warm up a little bit faster. The bass are staging to spawn right on that point, just on the outside of this pocket. And that's why I want to talk about my choices of baits for pre-spawn right now. Pre-spawn is basically when the water temperatures begin to rise from the coldest it was in the wintertime. And the way I kind of gauge that is I look at the daytime and the nighttime temperatures. And if the nighttime temperatures stay somewhere close to the water temperature and the daytime temperatures are getting fairly warm, then you're going to have a warm up and the bass are going to move shallow, or going to start to move shallow. And so the lures that I choose goes based on water color, of course, and also water temperature. Anything 50 degrees and below, I am going to throw two baits, and two baits only. I'm going to throw a jig. Get this down here. Okay, I'm going to throw a brown jig or a jig depending on the watercolor, and I'm just going to be dragging that along the rocky hard points and hard drop-offs and things like that. Just going to slowly be dragging it. The water temperature's cold. Everything in the water when it's below 50 degrees is pretty lethargic, pretty slow. So you're going to be fishing slow. You're going to keep that jig on the bottom. I've got a real good video about how to fish a jig in cold water. I'll put the link down in the description so you can watch it. The second one for cold water is going to be a jerk bait. Okay, something like this. Got a little bill just like that. And same thing, it's going to be a suspending jerk bait. So you're going to do it real slow. Jerk, jerk, pause, let it sit there in the water. It doesn't float, it doesn't sink. Just kind of pauses there in the water, and the bass slowly comes up to it and grabs it. It's kind of a boring way to fish when it's really, really cold, but it's effective and it catches big fish. So I really, really pay attention to jerk baits during that period of time. That's the two I fish during cold water. Water temperature gets up in the 50s like it is right now. It's in the low 50s, 53, 54 degrees. I'm going to start using moving baits that move just a little bit faster. First thing I go to is what I was catching fish on just a few minutes ago. A flat-sided square bill, okay? See how it's flat-sided square bill in a crawfish color, because crawfish are the most active in colder water. The bass love to eat them this time of the year. You catch a bass, their lips are real red, the backs of their crushers are real red. They've been eating on crawfish. I'm gonna fish it around points with lots of rock. Right now I was fishing a rocky point when I caught those fish. And I'm gonna try to bang it on everything. And the reason I like a square bill, flat-sided square bill, especially this one right here. This is a 6 cent square bill, and I've got a real good review over on my review channel about it. But it's a quiet one. It's got a little bit of a rattle to it, not much at all, and it's flat-sided, so you get a tight wiggle. It's just got a really good action, and I've caught a ton of fish on this bait, and it's just one of my favorites. It's one I always throw when the water temperature is just barely getting into the low 50s. And I can fish it slow and still keep it down deep and bang it off of stuff. Okay, water temperature's increasing. It's in 53, 55, all the way up to 60 degrees. I'm going to be throwing several moving baits. I'm getting away from the jigs unless I come up on a brush pile and stuff like that. Number one is going to be a lipless crankbait. Okay, I've got this is an Excalibur. I have 2 of them tied on today. Okay, this is a red-eye shad, different rattles, some have rattles, some don't, some have single rattles, some have multiple rattles. I play around until the bass tells me what it wants. I throw it on a medium fast action rod. This is a blackout. Both of these are medium fast action blackouts. And that one's hung on a hook, there we go. Okay, Concept C, Concept A reel, 7 3-to-1 gear ratios. 15-pound test iser line. The crankbait, I'm throwing it on 15-pound test iser line. I really ought to have it on 12 fluorocarbon, but I don't have any in the boat. But I've got it on a medium, heavy, moderate action rod, 6 3-to-1 or 6 1-to-1 gear ratio. And then I've got a couple of other baits that I like to throw when I'm in grassy areas or just covering water really slow and I need something to stay close to the bottom. I'm going to throw a 1/2-ounce chatterbait. This is what is it called? A Concept Z chatterbait, or anyway, Project Z chatterbait is what this one is. 1/2 ounce, so I can get it down there and keep it down and reel it really slow on the bottom. And then last but not least is a spinnerbait. This one has Colorado blades. I like them with willow leaves. I just try them until the bass tells me what he wants. Play around with certain things, and man, I tell you, just that lineup itself over the last 3 years of pre-spawn fishing seriously and fishing for staging bass, that lineup has caught me more fish than anything else during a pre-spawn. So I'll recap it real quick. Colder than 50 degrees, jig jerkbait. Warmer than 50 degrees, you can still get by with a jerkbait for a little while, but you're going to start off with a square bill, flat-sided square bill with not a whole lot of sound, not a whole lot of rattle. You might need a little rattle when the water temperature or the water color gets a little bit muddier. Staying with the crawfish colors. And then as it starts to warm up even more, I'm going to go with a lipless crankbait. I'm going to fish it really aggressive. I have videos about everything that we fish here. Switch to a lipless crankbait when it's about that time too, if they're keying in on shad or bluegill. And a spinnerbait for the same reason. And that's it. And once I get bit, I stay on that spot. I caught 4 fish off of that one spot. Cameras weren't on for one of them, but 4 fish. And I mean, seriously, that's the best lineup that I've found over the years. Well, like I always say, be sure to introduce somebody to fishing. Introduce them to my videos. Let me help you teach them how to fish. More importantly, get out on the water, go out and catch some fish, and have a great day.